The older I get, the more I understand why I love Adventure Time and can relate to Finn. There are so many storylines that are built up over the course of Adventure Time, from everything that happens with the Lich, learning about the history of all the important characters like Ice King and how he used to be Simon, Marceline and her story, or Princess Bubblegum and how she built the Candy Kingdom. All of these storylines are super good and I love them all, but the main story to me is that of Finn the human and watching him grow up. I think there's something about the way the outside world has played out ever since the show came and went that has made it age well. And what I mean by that is, with technology rapidly increasing and everything and everyone becoming more and more terminally online, I think it makes Finn's reality in Adventure Time more realistic and relatable for kids who grew up within the last 25 years. Finn is the only human in the land of Oo, and I think this is similar to the way a lot of people feel isolated in real life. The first major characteristic of Finn that becomes apparent earlier on in the show is that he has this incredible urge to be good, or to be a hero, and this, coupled with the fact that he is generally a very empathetic person, makes him pretty good at achieving that. One time Finn shows this is when he ends up finding his dad using this small town of people to help rebuild his ship for him. His dad has zero regard for the people he is using to help him and couldn't care less if they lived or died. Finn, on the other hand, feels awful about the whole thing and goes out of his way to save the town from the mess his dad created. Finn and his dad's relationship is not a good one. Finn wants badly to have a connection with his father, and I think part of this stems from him progressively feeling more and more isolated as he grows older. In the earlier seasons, when Finn is younger, he has more of a childlike wonder and is more overwhelmed in, I'd say, a good way about the world around him. The older he gets, the more he begins to question things and question his own existence. He becomes more hyper-aware that he's the only human he knows and begins to wonder about how he ended up here and where his real parents are. When Finn does end up meeting his father, he learns that his father is almost all the things Finn strives to and prides himself on not being. His father is self-centered and is constantly lying to Finn and others. These traits that his father have disgust Finn, and he wants himself to be the opposite. It's a fairly common thing for people to see themselves in their parents and want to change, and Finn is no exception. And even though for the most part Finn is definitely way more honest and caring than his father, he's not perfect. Finn's first romantic relationship is with Flame Princess. After years of wanting to be with Bubblegum and realizing that it won't happen, Finn starts seeing Flame Princess. And things go pretty well at first. They get along and Finn really likes spending time with her. Things end up taking a wrong turn when Finn sees her fight the Ice King and realizes how much he likes it for some reason. He ends up losing her trust by lying and manipulating her to fight the Ice King for his own pleasure. Something about romantic relationships can revert people to a childlike version of themselves, and I think this is what happens to Finn here. It can bring out both the best and worst parts of people, and Finn in this situation acts out of character, but it's not generally who he is. Finn's romantic relationships are a big part of his character development throughout the show, and he really just has to learn from experience, and I think this is a really good representation of real life, because everyone's situations are unique, and the only way you can understand yourself better is learning from your own experiences. Whether that be in friendships or romantic relationships, there's no advice that can really apply because what everyone is going through is unique to them. Shortly after Finn and Flame Princess break up, the Pillow Fort episode happens, and this is one of the best episodes in the entire show. The premise of this episode involves Finn and Jake making a pillow fort while there's a knife storm happening outside the treehouse. Finn is still hung up over what happened with Flame Princess at this point and can't stop thinking about it. Obviously, this episode can be interpreted differently, but the way I think about it is that this episode showcases how the wheels can start spinning in someone's head after a breakup or after they feel they've messed up. Finn goes into the Pillow Fort and lives an entire life. He marries Rosalind, has children with her, and ends up growing old and dying. He then returns to his normal world, and apparently only a few minutes have passed. I think this episode shows the ringer that Finn is being put through mentally trying to deal with himself and his relationships. And what he experiences in the pillow world is maybe his way of grieving, sort of, or trying to survive the pain he's going through. Something that is always happening to Finn throughout the show is physical injury, which makes a ton of sense considering he's a human constantly pushing his physical limits in a world of magical creatures. And this is something I can relate to a lot. I played a lot of sports growing up and was constantly hurting myself, whether it was something bad like a broken bone or just annoying stuff like a sprained ankle or something. Finn's arm is the best example of this. He loses his arm for the first time in season 6 while he's trying to catch his dad who's running away from him. It then gets replaced with a grass sword arm, and then later that arm gets replaced by a robot arm. Honestly, Finn deals with all the changes really well, and he doesn't let it frustrate him as much as I thought it would. But I think this extreme over-exaggeration of physical injury or change can be how it feels to get hurt as a kid. Breaking your arm can make you feel like you lost it when you're younger, and also when you're a kid, you're just doing more reckless stuff that might get you hurt in general. One thing I find myself jealous of when rewatching Adventure Time is Finn's abilities and resources to distract himself, and pretty much what I mean by that is just that the Land of Ooze is really cool and he has all this opportunity to explore it, but this does fade as he gets older, and this is kind of how it is for everyone growing up. For young kids, everything seems longer and more exciting because it's all new and they're experiencing it for the first time. The older you get, the more you get accustomed to the world around you, and things can often feel more flat. Part of Finn's story is him experiencing this, and I think this ties in heavily to his want to search for other humans as he gets older. Finn growing older, though, I think is best portrayed by the evolution of his relationships. Two characters he's known for the longest are Marceline and Princess Bubblegum. With Marceline, Finn and Jake start off as super scared of her. Jake mostly because he has a fear of vampires, but Finn doesn't really like her either and is scared and confused by her. They eventually become friends, and Finn kind of views her as like a cool older kid in the middle seasons of the show, and by the end of the show, I feel like they view each other as peers. With Princess Bubblegum, Finn puts her on a pedestal, and I'd almost say their relationship is like boss and employee just because Finn is the protector of the Candy Kingdom, and a lot of the early episodes revolve around him trying really hard to do that, partly because he cares about the citizens, but also partly because he really wants Bubblegum's approval. And Finn is in love with Bubblegum during these early seasons, and she rejects him, which takes Finn a really long time to get over. Before Finn and her can become friends, he has to take a break from seeing her and grieve the fact that he's not going to be with her. And once he does that and is older, they become friends. And I think by the end of the series, she views Finn as her equal and someone she trusts to make decisions, and not just blindly use him as fighting power. And one thing I want to talk about before I end this video, I've been wondering if children's shows like this are not possible at this point. With kids having access to social media and people having shorter attention spans or just craving constant entertainment because it's so much easier to access, will there be shows like this in the future? Like, if Adventure Time came out 10 years later, would they be able to create the world building that they did, or would it have gotten canceled after the first season because of ratings or something? I guess my question is, was the 2010s the end of an era for these types of cartoons, or will there be more shows like this in the future? Anyway, that's it for now. Shout out Adventure Time, shout out Finn the Human, I'm done, see ya.